And we're joined now by the GM of PWHL Toronto, Olympic and world champion Gina Kingsbury. So, first of all, Gina, congratulations on your team finishing atop the league in its inaugural season. That earned yourselves the chance to pick your opponent in the first round of the playoffs. Any team between the third and fourth place teams, which were Boston and Minnesota. Your team decided to go against the fourth place team, Minnesota. So walk me through it. Was it just based on the fact that you guys didn't want to have to choose a team? You're like, you know what? One conventionally usually plays number 4. We're just going to go with that. Or is the fact that Minnesota had gone 0-5 since returning back from the international break heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, no, we took the decision really seriously, obviously, looking at all different factors, looking at travel, collaborating with our leadership group and our athletes on what they felt comfortable with on all aspects of the game. Our staff sitting down with analytics and really trying to go through numbers. In the end, there wasn't a clear opponent that made the most sense. It was definitely a very tight race between Boston and Minnesota, but we had to make a decision, and we went with Minnesota. I think we know that this is a whole new season. The playoffs are going to be a clean slate for everyone, and we're going to have to elevate our game. And I'm sure Minnesota and Boston are going to come ready to compete. So we picked Minnesota, but we know that it's going to be definitely a tough challenge.
Absolutely. And you mentioned you addressed your leadership group. So how much did you weigh in on the way they felt in terms of confidence facing an opponent?
Well, I think it's important. They're the ones that are going to be competing and playing, in this series. And to be quite honest with you, they felt comfortable and confident with both opponents. They know they're both very competitive. They know how they match up. But leaning on them and really making sure that they feel comfortable. And it's not necessarily just asking them who you want to play. It's more all the different feelings around the game. Specialty teams, just how physical the games are, all of those questions that you're trying to piece all together the facts, and then, putting it all on the table and figuring out, who gives us the best odds of being successful. And we just felt Minnesota was the one we wanted to go with.
Now they have a fantastic goaltending duo in Maddie Rooney and Nicole Hensley. They've been amazing throughout the season, allowing the fewest goals actually with 54. However, they haven't been fantastic against your team with a 900 save percentage in 4 games. Did that weigh in as a big factor?
Yeah, again, like I said, it's there wasn't one factor that made our decision easy. It wasn't an easy decision. We looked at all individual athletes and how they match up against us. Goaltending, we know we're up against really good goalies. We are studying them. We've studied them all year, just like we've done with all the other teams that we play against. Looking at all different aspects. We know that it's going to be challenging. Boston would have been, also very challenging in net as well. And I think that's the beauty of this league. It's just the parity has just been absolutely incredible. That any given night, anyone can beat anyone, and it holds true just by the fact that the league was decided on the last game possible of the season to determine who had the fourth spot in the playoffs. So we looked at all different aspects. We feel good about our decision, but it certainly was an easy decision to make.
Look, you got Natalie Spooner going great. You got Sarah Nurse scoring highlight reel goals. You got a beautiful D pairing on the back end, and Renata Fast and Jocelyn the Rock, who are just playing some of the best hockey I've ever seen them play. However, they're going to be coming up against some young guns who have some pretty high octane offense in Grace Zumwinkle and Taylor Heisey. What will be, I guess, the key to the game in terms of shutting them down?
I think one thing that we've done all great all year is really focus on what we bring to the game, and certainly focusing on ourselves. Obviously, we're going to be very aware when those players are on the ice and how we defend against them. And our athletes are extremely well adaptable to whatever opponent we play against. Our coaching staff have done a tremendous job at building concepts and principles that allow us to be successful against our opponent, depending on who our opponent is. But the focus, it will be internally on ourselves and making sure that we continue to play the playoff hockey that we have played, I believe, this season, and just elevating everything to a whole other level so that we continue to be successful. So the focus will be on ourselves, but certainly there's going to be an awareness when Heise's on the ice and Coins on the ice, and we're going to make sure that we shut them down and play our game.
You talk about the success you have. You opened the season only winning you lost 5 of your first 7, and then you went on an 11-game winning streak. So you obviously want to continue that type of success. What was it about the way you were playing in those 11 games that you won straight that will help you be successful here in the playoffs?
It's funny. We really took the season almost as a template as the playoffs. We've broken our season down to all segments of 5 games. So we tried to win every segment so that we could get prepared to play series. Because in women's hockey, we're not used to playing in series. So we ended up losing the first series and winning 5 series, the next 5 series that we played, and then we also broke it down with the series against obviously each individual team and what that looked like. So we really focused on the now, the whole season. I think that's what allowed us to be successful, is we weren't looking ahead. We weren't chasing, trying to, go on a streak. We were always looking at just the next game ahead of ourselves, trying to get better in all little areas, 1% better every single day. And, that type of focus and that type of process has allowed us to be successful. But, we had the foresight to really try to look at the season and break it down in small segments and create almost like a series the whole season, so that we can be as best prepared as possible in the event that we made the playoffs.
Well, Gina, congratulations again on finishing first overall in the PWHL inaugural season. Congrats on picking Minnesota, and best of luck the rest of the way. We'll be cheering you on.